Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today we're going to do part 5 of the Rainbow Challenge. So basically, if you haven't seen any of my videos before, this is a series I do on my channel where I spin a wheel of colours and whatever colour we land on is the books that I read for that week. So I've got a lot of books on my physical TBR left that I need to get through, and that's what I'm basing it off. So far we have had green, rainbow, purple and red. So this week I'm hoping to get blue. I was going to wear blue. I didn't want to jinx it. I've probably jinxed it by saying it. I'm really hoping for blue. I'm okay with every other colour, but blue would be fantastic. So with all that being said, let me bring up the wheel so I can show you what colours are left. So as you can see on the wheel, the colours we have left is black, white, grey, blue, pink, brown, yellow and orange. I know that there's one colour on here that I have a lot of options for, and when it comes to that colour I will go into what I will do, and there's also a colour here that I think I'm lucky to get one option for. So I'm going to spin the wheel, fingers crossed we get the colour we want, and we will see what we get. Yes, I wanted blue so bad. Okay, blue is the colour that I have a lot of books for on my shelves. So on my shelves, I have 16 blue books. So what I'm going to do before I even look at my bookshelves is I'm going to get up a random number generator and I'm going to generate a number 1 through 16 and see what books that I'm going to pick first. Okay, so I've put in number 1 through 16 and now we're going to click generate to pick the first book that I will read in this video. Number 4. So let me take you over to the shelves and we'll count number 4. Okay, so now we're looking at my shelves. They're a little bit hard to see, but we're talking about the shelves that are from this height down is where I'm going to count the blue books. So number 1 is Heavenbreaker. Number 2 is January's. Number 3 is Cruel is the Light. I believe the front cover of that is blue. Yep. So that leaves number 4 is all the way under here. Number 4 is Throne of Secrets. So that's the first book I'll be reading for this video. Now that we've picked off the number for the first book, let's generate the second number. Number 8. Okay, let me take you over to the shelf for number 8. So coming back to the shelves, now we're going to count to 8. Now I am still including the number 4 book that we did pick out as I'm counting. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The North Wind is 6, 7, 8. So the second book I'll be reading is The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. So the first book I picked off the shelves that you saw, I rolled number 4, and that was Throne of Secrets by Kerri Maniscalco. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think this is going to be really good. I really enjoyed her Kingdom of the Wicked series, and this is a continuation of that. So I think that I've been putting this off for no reason. I think that I'm really going to enjoy this, and it's going to be a good book to start off with. The second book I picked up off the shelves was number 8, which was The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. Now, I believe the second book in this series is coming out in September, so hopefully I do enjoy it and I do want to continue. I am looking forward to this one as well. I have her Rogue King series on my shelf here, so if I do enjoy this, I can go on to that. And I am very much looking forward to this. I've heard very good things about this book as well. So I'm going to go to my book club tonight. I'm going to come back, and I'm not reading anything else at the moment, so I'm going to start with Throne of Secrets by Kerri Maniscalco, and I'll update you guys when I'm a little bit of the way through this. Okay, so I think yesterday my brain was a bit all over the place, and I rolled number 4 and I picked up Throne of Secrets by Kerri Maniscalco, thinking it was number 1 in the Princess of Sin series. It is in fact not, and I have not read number 1, and I'd rather do it in order. So let's go back to the bookshelf and see what the proper book that I'm meant to be reading is. So if we're looking at the bookshelf and we look over here, this is where I found number 4, which was Throne of Secrets. That is not the book that I'm up to, so that is not in fact number 4. So if we count, this one was number 1, 2, 3, And then if we're skipping that one, this is in fact number 4. So number 4 that I'll be reading is Heavenly Bodies. So sorry for the way I look at the moment. I'm just coming out of cleaning the house and running around doing stuff, and I've just sat down because I realized I hadn't updated you guys on Heavenly Bodies, and I'm now halfway through it and I'm flying through this book. So it took me a couple of days to get into it properly, which wasn't that I'd started reading it, was that I was too busy. And then I finally sat down and started reading it yesterday, and I got to halfway, and now I'm just flying through it completely. So this is basically a book that involves the fates and a sort of star-crossed lovers sort of energy to it as well. So where I'm up to, or where it started, we're following the character Alara. She's the princess of the kingdom of night, and she's started off the book being taken by the kingdom of light so that they can use her. So before she came into this kingdom of light, which is Helios, she had gone through some stuff in her kingdom. She's a part of a prophecy, and the prophecy is basically that she will fall for a star, but it will kill them both. So the star that's in the prophecy came after her kingdom and basically annihilated her parents, and she was left because he couldn't quite kill her. And so basically she's training in the Helios kingdom with the crown prince, and she's basically there because the king of that kingdom wants to kill a star and he needs her help. So I'm really enjoying how enchanting this world is, and the magic system is so beautiful. I love the imagery of each kingdom, whether we're in Celestia or whether we're in Helios, because Celestia is basically a painting of violet and blue and purple and indigo and black and all of these beautiful colors, like dark colors. And it's described so well, like twinkling twilight and sky, and the water is a purple hue, and it's just beautiful. And the contrast of Helios, where she's been taken, being orange, and the midnight sky is a deep red, and there's just fire colors basically. They're in a desert sort of area, and it's just the contrast between them is so beautiful, and they're each described beautifully. They each have sort of their own little quirks and different styles of that beauty. I especially like the chemistry, which is very clear in this book. I love it so much. It's such a change from what I've been reading, where there's been no chemistry. I'm enjoying this book so much. I was told that I would enjoy it, and I was sort of taking it with a grain of salt. So I had high hopes, but also I was trying to bring my hopes down a little bit so that I wouldn't get too excited. But this is definitely something that I'm really enjoying so far. And I love the celestial nature of it, and the stars being the gods, and there's so many different stars. I just sort of, it's just different to what I've read before. And I'm enjoying something a little bit different. Yeah, it's got similar tropes to what they normally have in fantasy books, but it's doing it in a way that it's not obvious, to me at least. The stars, from what I can see, are sort of they're based off stars, but like they're based off different variations of the star signs. Hello, Minty. She wanted to be involved in the book update. So they're basically different names of different star signs that I can tell. I'm not educated in stars. I don't know if this is the actual terms for constellations and everything like that. But the main star, he's a part of the prophecy and he's trying to kill her. He is the king of stars, known as God of Wrath, War, and Blood, also known as the Tyrant. He is Ariete. So he's sort of an offshoot of Aries, I'm assuming. And it's said that he's the patron star of Perseus. So he is not in charge of her kingdom. Like, he's not the star of her kingdom, but he is a part of this prophecy. I'm enjoying that the stars can basically come to Earth, and they're like celestial in nature, but they basically just walk around within their kingdom and have a great time. The way that the star came into her kingdom and was able to come into her kingdom was because the star that ruled her kingdom was sleeping. So they need permission to go into each other's sort of kingdom areas. And I actually like that idea because it means that later on something might come up that means that maybe this star betrays the other stars. I don't know. But I don't have as many words. I've noticed that when I love a book a lot, I lack the words to describe what I'm feeling about it and how I feel about it. All I can say is that I'm really enjoying this book so much, and it's just such a change of pace from what I've been reading that it's just immersing me so much more than the books I have been reading have. So I'm going to continue reading this. Let's see if I update you guys again. I'll probably won't until I'm finished because this is 500-page book, but the words are so large. Like, they're in such a large font, but also they're so easy to read. It's so easy to get lost in this book that I believe I'll probably finish it before I can update you guys again. So you probably won't hear from me until I finish the book, but I'm hoping that it keeps going on the trail it's going, if not gets better. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm really happy that I've got a book that isn't just feeling mid all the way through. I've still got 2 chapters left. Oh my god. I'm okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. So last night, as you may or may not have seen, because I don't know if I'm going to share the footage of me crying, last night I finished Heavenly Bodies by Amani Eriu. So, excuse the tippy tappies. When I had the last clip, I was 2 chapters away from the end, and clearly something hit me hard. Thank you, sweetheart. Clearly something hit me hard because I was distraught and in tears, and it was a lot. So I really enjoyed this book, it's safe to say. I had such a good time. It was so fun. We had high stakes, we had danger balanced out with some mellow stages of her training. I loved her magic. She's got various types of magic. I think her powers were Dreamwalker, shadows, and illusions. But I can't remember whether illusions was linked to one of the other powers, whether it was its own power. She had 3 powers though. I just don't know 100% what the third one was at this stage. You would think I would have my life together and my thoughts together. No, my brain cells were annihilated by this book. I really enjoyed her Dreamwalker ability. I enjoyed her other abilities, but her Dreamwalker ability was really interesting because she was basically able to visit other people's dreams, and she could pick and choose, and she could choose whether she just wanted to watch or whether she wanted to get involved. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. A lot of the things that were happening I thought that I was predicting and then something different would happen. So I sort of went, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm okay with that. At the end though, I did not expect how many things would happen at the end. And I don't know why, but I just loved every part of it. I don't know whether it's because this book has come into my life right when I'm having some very mid books and I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm rating things because I'm not feeling like they're the best. This book came along and threw a 5-star at me. I'm rating this book 5 stars. I don't know where this came from. I expected good things from it. I heard a lot of good things about it. I expected a lot from it. And it delivered on everything that I wanted and needed. I love the worlds that this is setting up. I think I described earlier the 2 worlds, Helios and Celestia? Asteria and Helios. Look, my brain cells went out the window. The 2 kingdoms that the 2 main sort of characters come from. So we've got her kingdom where the sky is sort of violet and blue, whereas his kingdom, you've got like sandy desert and the sky's orange and everything they wear is sort of shades of like a fire or earth colors, and like the midnight sky is a deep red. And then we visited another kingdom, and I'm pretty sure this is the only other kingdom we visit, but they had fairy floss clouds, like cotton candy clouds. I want to be there. It was all the hues of pink and rose, and they had cotton candy clouds, and like there were plants that you could eat as well that tasted like other foods. And it was meant to be the home of, well, the kingdom of, or whatever, of lust. Tora, goddess of lust and pleasure. So she was the patron star of Aphrodite, which is what this kingdom was called. And just the fact that you could reach out and pluck a bit of cloud off and it just tastes like fairy floss was a lot for me. And I don't know why I liked it so much. I don't know. I enjoyed this so much. And the fact that every single clue to the ending is on the front cover and you don't understand it until you read it. I don't know. I can't word. It was a 5-star. I really enjoyed it. Look, there's not many more words coming to me. My brain cells are gone. But I have now moved on to the next book. So earlier I said that I had to change my first option book to Heavenly Bodies because I realised that the book that I picked out first was the sequel and not the first one in that series. So therefore my count is completely off for both of the books. But I've decided to stay with The Games Gods Play as my next book, because if I go to number 8 beyond that, I am reading House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. And I just don't have it in me right now to read a book that big. And I think that this is more a size that I can do, the same size as what I just read. This one's writing is a lot smaller than the last one's, but I am now up to chapter 3. I started it this morning, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm hoping that I haven't given it a negative start because of how good the last book was. I'm hoping it still turns out just as good as I'm hoping it does. But right now, nothing has really happened yet. Like, I'm only up to chapter 3. Nothing has really happened yet. I think she's just decided that she's going to, I think she's just decided that she's going to enter into the Crucible, which looks like a thing that every 100 years they go and fight, I guess. I'm assuming it's like this is set in a world with Greek gods and everything, and they're living in San Francisco, which is known as Zeus's city. And like they have a map of, hang on, I'm not coming from a lot of places here because I've only just started it. They've got a map of like Olympus and the underworld and everything. It's not like a very intricate map. Like, it's pretty basic on what it's saying. But so far, I'm liking the setting of San Francisco, but in a way that it's like got Greek influence. So like the Golden Gate Bridge has like marble pillars and everything, like the typical Greek temple and everything. I'm doing well so far. It's definitely reading, and not just because it's Greek gods, but because of the way that it's written. It is reading Percy Jackson, like Percy Jackson words, but it's very much going to be an adult version, because I've already had like a warning at the start that there's going to be blood, gore, murder, sexual activity, graphic language, use of alcohol, death, grief, isolation, bullying, vomiting, hospitalization, illness, injury, abuse, perilous situations. We've got a mighty list of triggers in this book. So it's definitely not going to be like Percy Jackson, but I'm getting the same sort of energy as Percy Jackson. To me, it's written in the same voice. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I think where I'm up to, she's just decided that she's going to enter the Crucible. I do not know what the Crucible is yet. I have not gotten that far. I will update you guys when I do know what the Crucible is. But yes, I'm starting this at the moment, and I'm hoping that it is good, and I'm hoping that the last book doesn't make me have trouble with it, because that was so damn good. So I will update you guys when I'm a little bit into this one. Okay, you have me in my comfy zone. It is freezing outside, and I did not want to wear anything but my hoodie today, so this is what I'm in. It's been a couple of days since I last updated you guys, and I have now finished The Games Gods Play by Abigail Owen. I didn't get to update you guys halfway through because I was so busy throughout the week that whenever I had time, I just picked up the book and started reading it, and therefore I actually didn't think at all about filming myself reading it, unfortunately. So I don't even have footage of that. But I promise you, I have finished it. I finished it at 3 a.m. this morning. I have a problem. And I'm going to tell you guys what I thought about this book. So at the start of it, it came in a little bit slow. So I was having a little bit of trouble. I know I compared it earlier to Percy Jackson. I take that back. Yeah, the start of it was giving me like I was in Percy Jackson's head and he was thinking and all of that. Sort of like overthinking in a way and overanalyzing things like a younger person does. But as we went on, I realized that that's just the tone that the author sort of writes in. And it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just reminding me of that. When I was reading it, we had a lot of sort of modern references that took me out of it quite a bit. For example, the gods have a group chat, and at one point in the book also she's in Mount Olympus, in the clouds, in a jail cell, and she has a computer and she's able to watch a streaming service and watch a K-drama on that streaming service. I think that was a bit too far for me. Obviously, it's set in the modern world, so you're going to have modern things said. Like, she referenced a lot of modern things like TV shows or events that have happened in the modern world. So we're set in a world that is very much like us today, and then plants the gods and goddesses and all the mythical creatures into this world. So, unfortunately, some of them were a bit too much for me. And if anything, it dates the book a little bit. It leaves it in a time period, which is okay. But, like, you know, it did take me out of it a little bit. And I was eye-rolling quite a bit. Since I last updated you also, I found out that the Crucible, she did not, in fact, enter herself. Because the Greek gods sort of choose their champions without sort of consulting them. And she didn't enter herself. She just got chosen by Hades to be his champion, and he doesn't normally enter the Crucible, but this year's his first year doing it, and so it actually puts a little bit of a target on her back at the start, unfortunately. So it was a little bit on the nose, as the fact that I sort of knew that Hades would be the one to choose her when she met him at a certain point beforehand. I sort of knew that she'd have a hard time. I couldn't predict how she was going to get through the different crucible things, because they had a different challenge from each god except Hades, because he came too late to the party. And it was interesting, they had relics to play with and everything that they could use to help them through it. But it was cool to guess how she would get through each trial. It wasn't like too easy for her, and it wasn't too hard. So it was just a bit like, yeah, okay. She's gotten injured a couple of times, but she'll be okay. I also cringed out a little bit. I'm sorry if this is sporadic. Wow, I'm adding things here, but I'm adding them as I remember them because I wasn't able to update you. But when she met Cerberus, and instantly in her head she's like, I'm going to name that head Sir, that head Burr, and that head Russ. And I rolled my eyes because we couldn't be any more creative with that. Like, she didn't insinuate that she was talking to them and referring to them as Sir and Burr and Russ, but she was indicating that that's who she was talking about in the book. And yes, it did make it a little bit easier for me to understand which head she was talking to. But also, it was a bit on the nose because Cerberus, wow. Groundbreaking. I don't know. I am saying a lot of negative things, but I'm going to come into the positive things. I enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed seeing this world through the eyes that the author was writing it. It was really beautiful to be in Mount Olympus and have everything described to you. And even describing the underworld was really fascinating to read about. And I really enjoyed how intricate the world building was for me to be able to picture it like that. I enjoyed the concept of the crucible, and I enjoyed the different trials that they had to go through during the crucible. I enjoyed the different characters that were in it with her. I also enjoyed that it sort of got to a point where, because all through the book, she doesn't feel loved because of a curse that Zeus put on her, that she couldn't be loved. And so this whole time she shut herself off and she hasn't been cared for and all of this. And to get into this competition and to realize all the way through, but also at the end, that she is actually cared for, and to be loved is not to not be cared for. People do care. And her overpowering the things that she has thought and felt her whole life, and coming into herself and being more confident with her abilities and things that she's doing and her friendships and everything, was really, really nice to read about. I had a little bit of trouble with tiny inconsistencies, but you do need to realize that because I've been reading books lately that have so many inconsistencies, it didn't really affect me as much. So like at the start of the book, we had little things, but the one that I remember is at the start of the book, Hades came out and she said he looked freshly showered. And at the end of the book, close to the end of the book, she's sitting there going, I wonder if gods shower, or do they just do the click and then they're fresh and clean? I'm like, well, that wasn't a huge inconsistency, but it was enough for me to notice it. And like I said, it could have been because I have been noticing it a lot more in other books. But I have ignored those sorts of things in books that I've loved. So I sort of ignored those things to a certain extent. But I don't know how I feel about how this book ended, because the way it ended was a little bit too easy. But I can't, like, if you've read the book before, you might think, what do you mean easy? What I mean by that is it's almost too convenient what happened at the end. And yeah, I was sitting there scratching my head a little bit before the very end, because something that happens before that, I'm like, well, how does that work for the future? But the very end, it's a little too convenient to add that as a new little, not plot twist, a bump on the road, but like a very deep pothole, very deep crevice in the road. And we've just added it at the very end of the book so that we can add on a cliffhanger. And it was rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. I basically ended up rating this book a 3.5, but know that I'm only rating it at a 3.5 because I'm not doing quarter ratings. This would normally probably be a 3.75 because it's almost a 4, but it's not quite a 4 because there were a couple of things that I rolled my eyes at a lot that I cannot ignore. And I don't know. I'm not doing quarter ratings this year. We will see what my thoughts are next year about that. But last year it got out of hand for me. So I did a 3.5, but a high 3.5. So it's like in between a 3.5 and a 4. I really did enjoy this book. I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't too easy. But like I said, just little things, like little tiny inconsistencies, but also just the impact of modern things. Like there was also a time at the start where she got given her uniform for the Crucible. And she was like, well, at least it's not like all the other athletic uniforms they have for women where it shows all their skin and it's not practical at all. And I'm like, okay. And then he was like, well, what would you like to wear? That was a little bit on the nose for Hades. And for her just meeting Hades. And I don't know. It's like the way that it was put into that scene was like it didn't belong. But the author wanted to put in a little bit of some feminism in there to write about. So people can go, oh yeah, I know that. Cool. Like, yeah, I agree with that. But it was put in there in a way that made it look like someone just wrote it out and glued it in. It wasn't meant to be there in the first place. So there was like a couple of instances like that. But overall, it was a really good book. I do plan on continuing just because, yes, that plot twist at the end was a lot. That cliffhanger was a lot. And I do want to know how they would open it up from there because the way it ended up, I can't imagine what would happen in the next book because the way it ended was a bit like, I can't say anything. I can't say anything without spoiling it. I'm not going to say anything, but I don't know where it could go from here. So I do want to read the next book, and I believe the next book comes out in like September in Australia. Could be October, but around that time, I am looking forward to it. But yeah, at the end of the day, this was a high 3.5, and it could have been better. I think that a little bit of the writing style just wasn't vibing with me a little bit, and it was taking me out of it. I will admit, though, that there was a whole solid day there where I did not read this book in the 3 days that I was reading it. So I did finish this book in technically 2 days. So, like, I got through it fast, but it's mainly because I needed to finish this video and get it out to you guys. So, with that being said, we had a 5-star in this video and we had a 3.5 star. That's not to say that 3.5 was bad at all, but that's just what I felt at the time. So this was the episode 5 of the Rainbow Challenge. This was the color blue, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys come back and watch the rest. And if you wanted to see the rest of the videos in this series, I have got a playlist on my channel, and I'd love for you guys to come back, watch, like, subscribe, support my channel a little bit. It would be fantastic to keep expanding on this channel and keep getting to know more of you guys and talking to you guys about books. So I hope to see you in the next one, but until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, wonderful rest of your month, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.